So you're thinking about moving to Weatherford, Texas. Well, today we're going to do a Google Map evaluation of the city of Weatherford, and we're going to take a look at Weatherford as it relates to the Metroplex. We're going to get a bird's eye view. We're going to look at where you need to watch for traffic, other cities, how they connect, and how people normally travel around Weatherford. And hopefully this gives you a better idea of what it's like to live here. And from that, you can make a better decision about whether this is where you would like to move, or if it's not quite the right fit. So before we jump in, if this is your first time to the channel, be sure to click that subscribe button, press that bell for notifications so you'll be the first to know about any changes or updates here in the Weatherford area. And just so you know, we get calls, texts, and emails every day from people just like you that are thinking about relocating here. Whether they're thinking about moving here next week, next month, or even next year, we'd love the chance to chat with you. So give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We'd love the chance to chat with you or answer any questions or give some advice. I know, this is a time where people are doing research on where they want to move, and they're planning on, summertime or spring next year. So all of that is perfectly fine. If you have any questions or want some advice, we'd love the chance to chat with you. All right, so just jump right in. So let me share my screen. We are going to jump into the Google Maps. Weatherford, as you can see, is right here. So if we are looking at Weatherford, obviously you see that it is going to be west of Fort Worth. If you continue traveling west, you're going to hit Abilene. Continuing from there, you're going to go into Midland, which is where a lot of the oil and gas work is in the Permian Basin. Midland, Odessa. A lot of folks are there. So a lot of people actually will work in Midland, and they will have a house in Weatherford / Granbury. So it's a pretty hot spot for that. So looking at Weatherford, look how close it is to Fort Worth. And you have I-20, which is a primary interstate road for traveling through Fort Worth, is running directly through Weatherford. So if you go from Fort Worth to Weatherford, you're looking at about 15 to 20 minutes travel time. So relatively close. I mean, some of these areas that are, suburban cities of Fort Worth take 15 minutes to get into Fort Worth. So that's why some people consider Weatherford to be like a suburban city of Fort Worth, because it's the first major city along that I-20 corridor, from Fort Worth. So looking at the Weatherford area, if someone were traveling into Fort Worth, typically they're going to, depending on where they're coming from, they're going to get on I-20 here, or they're going to get on I-20 here. And they're going to travel down I-20 until they hit this junction here. From there, they have to determine where they're going to go. If they're going to the southern part of Fort Worth, they'll travel down here and hit 820, the 820 loop. If they're going this way, they'll go, so you can travel around if you see the way these roads run. Obviously, the further into Fort Worth, especially if you have to travel up to North Richland Hills, this can be a large trip from Weatherford. But if you're traveling, to the Ridgely Hills area, that's probably only 20-25 minutes from Weatherford. So it's not a bad trip at all, depending on what your work is or what your purpose for the trek into Fort Worth is. So looking at the Weatherford city, there's also a few cities that are around that are not Fort Worth. You have Granbury, which is here, which is going to be primarily connected by, if you recall, Highway 51. Highway 51, we've talked about this road before. Highway 51 is going to run all the way down until it meets Granbury here. So, if you remember, I mentioned that the Yellowstone producer, Taylor Sheridan, that he lives in a neighborhood that is right off of Highway 51. Here we go. So Silverado is going to be approximately right here. This is one of the premier neighborhoods in Weatherford, especially for horse properties. These properties do start basically at $1 million at the low end, and then they go up, as high as you could imagine. So, but it is a premier neighborhood. Lots of very cool properties out here. Lots of rich history as well. So with that, Weatherford is currently a city which there's a lot of traffic coming to and from Granbury. So a lot of folks in Granbury live on this side, will work in Weatherford. Sometimes you'll have families where the husband works in Weatherford and the wife works in Granbury, or vice versa. And so there's basically a strip of homes in this little area here that people will tend to live in. So you have lots of cool areas, and we could talk more about it. I don't want to spend too much time in looking at every individual neighborhood, but there's several neighborhoods in between Granbury and Weatherford that people live in, to give them 10-15 minute commutes for each. And the closer you get to the middle, obviously the closer you'll be to being able to split it in half. But even traveling from, say, here to Weatherford, it's only 15 minutes. So it's not going to be a long trip at all. From here to Granbury into the center part of the city is probably only 8 minutes. So there's also going to be some that are on the Weatherford side up here. And so, from here into Granbury, it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes at the most. So Weatherford and Granbury, they do share a lot of traffic, and there's a lot of people that do travel back and forth between the two cities. So with that, I also mentioned a city that is also a big city for horse lovers, and that is Stephenville. So if you will see some travel to and from here for horse-related reasons. Now, I may have mentioned that Weatherford actually has one of the oldest community colleges in the southwest region of the country. I think it was founded in like 1869, I believe. So Weatherford Community College. So a little cool tidbit there. So I think this gives you a pretty good idea. Mineral Wells is a city that was up and coming and bigger, and kind of slowed down, and has since kind of went on a resurgence. It's growing again. So Mineral Wells is here. A lot of folks like the Mineral Wells area as well. Lots of beautiful rolling hills if you go out in that direction, Palo Pinto and Mineral Wells. So with that, if there's anything that I didn't cover, some questions that you have, if you'd like for me to give some more information or advice, feel free to reach out to me. Again, shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. Love the chance to connect with you. Let me know if you like these videos in the comments. If this is something that is an absolute waste of your time, I hope not. But this seems like something that could be helpful, especially for folks that are trying to get a bird's eye view of Weatherford, that may not be from around here or familiar with the traffic patterns and things as it happens. So hope you found this helpful, and until next time, I hope to see you around Weatherford.